Good afternoon. Thank you all for taking a few moments to be here with us today. My name is David Mustin, and I'm the Director of Communications for the Dearborn Public Schools. Very fitting for us to be here in the garage of Henry Ford and on the beautiful Henry Ford Estate. We want to thank them for their hospitality and for hosting us today. We are going to hear from a few different folks up here today. We'll hear from our Board of Education President, our Superintendent, and then Mr. Britton Smith from Bluebird. Once we get done with all of that, if there's any questions and answers, we will moderate a little bit of time for some Q&A at the end, and then we'll have plenty of time to head on out, take a look at the bus, get any photos that you may need of that. So thank you again for being here, and at this time I would like to introduce to you our Board of Education President, Ms. Roxanne McDonald.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Dearborn Board of Education, I'd like to welcome you all and thank you for being here today as Dearborn Public Schools shares the exciting news of our very first electric bus. I want to thank our elected officials for being here. I see City Councilperson Leslie Herrick, and I especially want to thank our State Senator Sylvia Santana. She has been an outstanding partner with us on educational issues, and we appreciate your support here today. Pardon me. I also want to thank those of you who are here representing parents and the greater Dearborn community and our local businesses. The success of our district is built on these partnerships, and having you here today reinforces our shared commitment to the success of our students. I'd also like to give a very special thank you to all the hardworking professionals and they're dedicated who work in our transportation department. Each and every day, all of you take great care in ensuring the safety of our students as they travel to and from school and other events. Your work does not go unnoticed. It is valued and it's certainly appreciated. Our role as a school board is to set policy that ensures the district is providing the very best education for our students in a safe and welcoming environment. Doing our part to reduce our carbon footprint can help create that safer environment in our entire community. We also work to find available resources that can help us efficiently and effectively operate the district. I'm very proud of our staff members and their efforts to secure 2 grants. The first one helped us purchase the new electric bus that is here today, and the second one will provide funding for up to 18 additional electric buses in our fleet that will be purchased in the future. I thank our staff for seeking out these grant opportunities, and I appreciate the EPA for making these funds available to school districts across the district and across the nation. Our board also looks for ways to be innovative leaders. In addition, the addition of this electric bus to the Dearborn Public Schools fleet reflects that innovative leadership. This bus is the first of many we hope to become part of our fleet. Each electric bus we put into service is one less diesel bus that is running through our neighborhoods and in front of our schools. Doing our part to decrease emissions is good for our students, our community, and the environment as a whole. It is my hope that the example we set today as a district willing to make change and willing to be innovative will inspire our students and be an example of good leadership. I want to thank our partners, Holland Bus Company and Bluebird, in bringing this electric bus to our district, and we appreciate your continuing commitment to providing safe transportation for all students. I look forward to seeing more of these buses with the Bluebird label, these green buses with the Bluebird label, traveling through our neighborhoods in the future. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Roxanne. And now our Superintendent of the Dearborn Public Schools, Dr. Glenn Malenko.
Thank you, David. Good afternoon. On behalf of all district staff, I would like to welcome and thank everyone for joining us here today. I would also like to thank our Board of Education for their support and leadership, along with President McDonald. We have Trustee Thorpe from the board, Trustee Watts, Trustee D'Ambrosio, Trustee Mosup, and Trustee Petlichkoff. As President McDonald mentioned, I would also like to acknowledge and thank all of our community partners for supporting the work of our district and our continued focus to always put students first. I want to thank the EPA for awarding our district with the funds to bring these electric buses to our district, and especially Senators Stabenow and Peters. Although redistricting has changed Congresswoman Dingell's area, I do want to thank her and acknowledge all of the work she has done for Dearborn over the years, and I know they were pushing for this grant as well. This is an exciting day for all of us as we officially take delivery of our first electric Bluebird bus, and we got to ride on it. I'm so excited. I'm going to be on that video. So I've always wanted to get my head on that video. It's fitting that our longtime partners, Holland Bus Company and Bluebird, are here with us today. We appreciate their commitment to safe transportation for the students and value the partnership with the Dearborn schools. The bus that sits behind us was funded with a mix of federal grant dollars and district funds. In March 2022, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency provided an initial grant of $300,000 through the American Rescue Plan Electric School Bus Rebate Program. Last month, the EPA, and we were so excited, and I was at the press conference in Ypsilanti with Congresswoman Dingell, announced that Dearborn was one of several districts in Michigan to be awarded federal dollars from the 2022 Clean School Bus Rebate Program. Under that grant, Dearborn is eligible for $7.1 million in funding to buy up to electric school buses and infrastructure. We look forward to bringing this new technology to our district in the years to come. Educators love the term, as you're aware, pilot program, and rightfully so. It's a great way to test a new program, recognize strengths, identify challenges, and be fiscally responsible. The addition of our first electric bus fits that formula. Putting this bus in service will help us gather data and identify how to best use the electric vehicle platform to meet our transportation needs in Dearborn. Bluebird reports that customers typically spend about 14 cents a mile on energy costs for an electric bus. That compares to 49 cents per mile for traditional diesel buses. In Dearborn, we run 56 bus routes every day. About 5,500 students ride a district bus to and from school, which equates to about 990,000 student trips a year. Thousands of our students' trips are made for field trips, athletic events, and shuttles between the high schools and the Dearborn Heights campus. So you can see our fleet of buses and the great people who drive them, maintain them, ride on them, and schedule them are kept busy throughout the day and into the evening. We see them all over the city. All these miles driven provide us with plenty of opportunities to use this new technology to its full extent. Again, students first, inspire, educate, celebrate. We all know that. I have it here in my pocket as well, just so you know. We can pull that out later. We see that phrase in schools and classrooms all over the district. Those words are more than just a phrase. It's our district's vision statement, a vision for our motivation, actions, and success. I believe bringing these zero-emission buses to our community lives up to our district vision. We should all be inspired to be innovators and embrace new technology, ready to educate about the positive environmental impact these zero-emission buses can have on our communities. And of course, the part we all enjoy and the reason we're here today, to celebrate these new endeavors with our business partners, community partners, staff, and of course, students. We look forward to adding additional electric buses to our fleet as we continue to always put students first. Thank you for attending, be safe, and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you, Dr. Malenko. Now I'd like to introduce from Bluebird, Mr. Britton Smith. He is the Senior Vice President of Electrification, which is an awesome title, and also Chief Strategic Officer as well. Britton?
Thank you, David. So first I wanted to acknowledge this is an unbelievable homecoming for this next generation electric Bluebird bus. And The reason why I say homecoming, for folks who don't know, you can see over there is a picture of Bluebird number 1, the yellow bus. That was the first school bus that Bluebird built by Albert Lewis in 1927. And it was built on a Ford Model TT chassis. So for the first few decades of our existence, we're actually built on Ford chassis. So very cool homecoming for us here. Interestingly, we do have a replica down in Fort Valley, Georgia, where we build all of our school buses today, but the real number 1 is actually in the Henry Ford Museum a mile down the street, so you guys got to go visit it. Bluebird is really built on a history of innovation. So we talk about electric now, but many decades ago, we were the first school bus to have an all-steel body. Obviously, that's great for durability, but more than anything else, it helps protect the students that are inside there. We were the first to market with a CNG, or compressed natural gas powertrain, first to market with propane, and first to market with electric about 5 years ago. 2018, we sold our first electric vehicle. Right now, we have 850 electric vehicles on the road, and that's in 32 states, including Michigan as of today. So in 32 states across the country and 4 provinces in Canada. So we've really shown that electric vehicles can be deployed across all climates, on hot and cold, I guess just normal weather in Michigan, as you might imagine. I look at Bluebird as really helping to propel this clean revolution. Right now, there are 500,000 school buses on the road today. Most of those are diesel. Nothing against diesel, it's a great powertrain, but if we convert all of those to electric, that'll help take 5 million tons of carbon emissions off the road every single year. So it's a huge opportunity. The other thing that I would mention is that every single electric school bus from Bluebird comes with V2G, or vehicle to grid capability, built in. Now what that means is, during a time of catastrophe, when the grid is no longer operating, the bus can send electricity back to the grid or power the building that it's in. So really a great opportunity for Dearborn, not just to invest in clean transportation, but also for the safety and security of the community and the students that live there. So I'd like to thank the Holland Bus Company, our partners, our local dealer partner. Obviously, we couldn't do anything without our local dealers and their partnership with Dearborn. I'd also like to thank national, state, and local representatives who are really supporting and driving the momentum around electrification. As mentioned, we're very excited that Dearborn has won another grant for 18 more school buses, and we hope that those continue to be Bluebird as those get deployed over the course of the following year. I also share Dearborn's excitement in the first electric deployment. Now, this is a personal story. So just about a month ago, I took delivery of my own EV. It's a Ford Mustang Mach-E, obviously. And so it's a fun, for folks who haven't driven these vehicles, they're phenomenal. Great power, great build quality, obviously. Great power delivery, really, really quiet ride. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic, and I love it. But interestingly, that's what people love about diesel engines in a school bus. What's interesting is that an electric vehicle has more power than a diesel engine. So it's actually a better performing vehicle. Not only that, but it's quiet. So what that translates to is a safer ride for students. The school bus driver can now hear what's going on inside the bus better. They can hear what's going on outside the school bus better. So it's safer and it's better transportation for our children. Now, there are challenges. And so I'll tell you frankly, the biggest challenge that I have being a Mach-E driver is trying to figure out who's going to drive it that day. So it's a daily fight between myself, my wife, and my daughter to see who gets the keys that day. But this is what we hear from students as well. They're excited to drive into the future, right? That's how they think about it, is this brand new, exciting technology. And my hope is that these electric school buses inspire the next generation of engineers, scientists, and Dearborn becomes a hotbed for electrification in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Britton. Appreciate that. So at this time, I'd just like to open it up to if there's any questions, and then we've got some great experts up here who can answer those questions. So, and I've also have some folks from transportation here. Mr. Mark Andrews, Mr. Rick Sortes is here as well from transportation. So if there's any questions related to that, I'll ask them to step up here as well. So, yes, Mike.
Can you talk a little about the charging of the bus, where the charging stations are going to be, how long it takes to charge the bus?
Rick?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. The question is about charging the buses, where the charging stations are going to be, how those are going to be paid for, what it.
There's grants for the charging stations that will be at our base. We are working with different companies right now, getting bids, looking all into that. I just sat through a webinar yesterday for an hour with other people who are dealing with the same kind of new Go Green. But this is all new to us. We are learning each day what's going on, but it's very interesting.
For the record, please state your name first, please.
I'm Rick Sotras. I'm the transportation supervisor for Dearborn Public Schools.
So is there a charging station in place right now?
We have a trickle charger at our station that charges overnight.
Approximately how long does that take?
That takes between 12 and 14 hours. You're welcome.
Any consideration for solar panels to handle part or all of your charging now or in the future?
I'm going to have Mr. Mark Andrews, who is our Director of Operations, kind of related, but not, so we won't, this is kind of veering off into another area, but I will let Mr. Andrews address that.
Yeah, so great question. We're working with some architects right now to look into that question. We want to look at all options. If we go just total solar, we want to be able to have electric backup, just so in case, it's not sufficient, we can still have our buses available for the next day. So we're looking into those options right now through our architects and designers.
Can I add something to that too? We're looking to, we're investing responsibly, and we thank both the federal and state government for the dollars. We're investing quite a bit into our infrastructure right now, and we put out something on, we're putting up to $100 million in infrastructure across the district. And some of that, we have a bid that's going out in January for renewable energy sources. So we're looking at savings across the district and how we can be more, whether that's lighting to other things. And I know the board's been involved in some of the conversations with our committee. So we're excited to move in that direction. When I go to conferences, I see other states where I've visited, and there's maybe infrastructure already there, and that's what I think Michigan needs, is that infrastructure, because even when you get into, okay, we can do it locally and Dearborn's doing it, but then you got to look at field trips and other things, so you're going to need that renewable energy in different places across the state in order to be totally effective. But I think it's a great start, and we appreciate the EPA and the grant that we received. And I want to commend Rick Sortrez and then Mark, because they took the lead on writing the grant did a great job, and we're excited to have the grant for renewable energy, but also because it's going to save our general fund budget, saves the local taxpayers dollars.
What's the lifespan of the bus?
Yeah, so the lifespan of a bus is the same as a regular internal combustion engine bus, and we expect that the battery and the powertrain will last the full life of its operation.
Yeah, that's what that means.
So normal lifespan of a bus is anywhere from 10 to 15 years, depending on the state. California, they last up to 20 years.
There are some concerns about EV batteries having technical issues, electrical issues, fire issues. How those could be dealt with in the future?
So we have had zero issues. Our batteries are actually manufactured in Michigan locally, and so as I mentioned, 850 in the field. We haven't had any electrical issues, no fires, no faults. And that's part of what we build into the battery, right? Is to make sure that they have adequate fail safes to prevent anything from happening.
Question about Calico. How and when or where will those buses be implemented? How those buses be used right now?
I mean, it's going to take us some time. I mean, this is the first bus, so this one, we're still working on that with these buses coming in. It's going to take some time to even receive the buses, I believe. So we still have to work out those details. I mean, this is just a fresh, grant that we've received, but we are excited to bring them into the fleet. And like I said, it's not only renewable, good for the environment, but it's going to save, $7.1 million from our general fund.
Buses going into the fleet right now. Can you do this?
I'd have to, is it going in?
Not at the moment. We just got received it 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
We're still in the process of the charger, making sure the charger's overnight. A couple things we have to go through first.
I know Rick said his drivers are excited. They all want to get into the electric bus, right?
So, to answer your question, we're going to
Mark,
go.
sorry.
Yeah, so it's hard for us to answer your question because our bus routes are so different. We have some that just do one school, we have some that have midday runs, we have some that do athletic and field trip runs at the end of the day, and all that depends on the mileage, and will this bus have time to charge in between it? So what Mr. Sotris is going to do is we're going to test it, put it in some routes here or there, and just to get a feel of how it can be used.
Britt said the batteries were made in Michigan. Who is the battery manufacturer?
So the company is called Exalt. Exalt, they're owned by Freudenberg.
They're owned by.
Freudenberg, it's a German company, but I apologize, I forget exactly where they're made in Michigan. Well, Exalt is really but Exalt is the name of the company that's in the U.S. And then it's, all of our powertrain is assembled or coordinated through Cummins. So our stated range is 120 miles during the summer, and then usually we see about a 10 to 20% degradation. And there's ways that you can improve that by preconditioning, so you kind of start it up early, warm it up for the day, and then obviously managing the heat, how much you use with electricity.
As Dr. Maleko mentioned in his comments about being a pilot program, I think this truly is for us a pilot program, able for us to run it through the different routes, find out and work through all of these questions, because just as you have these questions, we do too. But it's great to know that we've got great partners with Bluebird and Holland who are there with their expertise to help us through all of this so that we can best use this bus for its most efficient use, so that before we make any commitments, moving forward with the other grant that we received with the other buses. So when those buses do arrive, we'll have all of these logistical questions answered, and we'll have all of that infrastructure in place as well. So I think that Dr. Maleko's comments reflected that kind of pilot program approach. It is about 2 o'clock, so I want to keep us on track here. At this time, we'll conclude this part, but I would like to offer everybody the opportunity to step outside and take a closer look at our new electric bus. And I'm sure we've got some folks here who can also offer some comments about that. So thank you all very much for being here today. We appreciate it.